the Aston Martin Vantages. So we got Lime Essence and we got Flugplatz Blue. Two very different builds, two very different cars. Same Aston Martin Vantage built two very different ways. From the same parents, but dramatically different. Before we start comparing these two Astons together, a Vantage against a Vantage, the more aggressive, louder, faster track build to the more elegant, smarter, refined, classier build, I want to talk about what these guys typically get compared to. So, majority of the reviews you're going to see on YouTube of these two vehicles are against either a Porsche 911 or the Mercedes AMG GT, AMG GTS, or AMG GTC. Now, why does that comparison happen so often? Is because they share the same exact power plant out of the AMG GTS, the Mercedes-Benz 4.0 bi-turbo V8. And even though they put out a little bit less horsepower, they put out a little bit more torque. Now, these vehicles, they run an 8-speed ZF transmission, whereas the AMG GTs are running a double clutch transmission. Obviously, that's going to shift faster, and the AMG GT is a faster vehicle than the Vantage on a straight line. But we all know that's not what makes a vehicle. It's about the feel. What emotion does it pull out of you when you're driving it? We have the most spectacular guest today because he is my brother from another mother, Thomas Moser. I call him Dirty Tommy. You'll find out why. Yep. So today we're going to talk about our drive with the Astons. We went on a monster drive and shot some amazing footage for you guys. Would you buy one of these if it was the one car that you were gonna daily and track?
It's got the right level of comfort to like daily as well as go to the track with. This is more track oriented than the blue one, but even the blue one I think has the right appeal to take onto the track. It's like right in between the two.
I don't think it's something, it would be my first pick if I was picking a track car.
No.
But if I was picking like an all-around, it's an amazing car. Aston Martins are special vehicles, all the way down to the badging of the car. A jewelry company makes their badges. It's a metallic badge and it's filled with white and green enamel. That's what brings the Aston Martin badge together. This is a signature Aston Martin grille. If you go back to the older Vantages, the DB9s, you keep going backwards, DB5s, and that shape, general shape, is always there. The presence this car has on the road is astonishing. All the trims on the Lime Essence car are heavy, high gloss black. This grille portion makes up for majority of the front bumper of the car. As you can see, this white badge with the enamel finish in it pops so much on this baby blue color. Even the green just looks really nice and it pops. Down to the grille of the car, the semi-gloss charcoal has metallic flake in it, which gives it its own unique character. I'd also like to point out our Lime Essence Vantage does not have the vents on the hood, where this one does. You actually did a lot of track events, racing, and drifting.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about that.
So started on the streets, used to build my own cars. A lot of the stuff I just learned as I was going. There's a plethora of information online.
It's the best way to learn.
For sure. And then when I was working at the automotive shop, we had every tool under the sun that I needed there. So I did engine swaps there. We had a dyno there. I learned how to, tune on a dyno myself, like with my laptop, just like doing pools, road racing, drifting events, learn like in a safer environment than on the street, because
like autocross type of stuff?
Autocross.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, like the autocross events or the autocross tracks, they would open them up to drifting as well.
Oh,
so
sick,
we would have like separate days. One day you could go out there and autocross, and then I could change my setup and then go out there and drift it. So our Lime Essence car is built with lightweight sport wheels,
These wheels are supposed to be the lightest ones you could get on the Vantage. They are in a textured matte finish. I can't say it's a matte black, it's more of a deep gray. Now that theme of textured matte carries over to some of the other trim on the vehicle, including the side gills. Now these wheels, Aston Martin calls the 10-spoke diamond turned wheels. Now, it just sounds classy and it looks really good in person. It's one of the best gloss black wheels with a polished face that you could get. And I don't think these wheels would do justice as much on the Lime Essence as they look on the Blue. So the side vents on this car, these side gills, it's a matte black, again, textured matte black, very similar to the wheels on the car, and it feels very similar, but it's got these round cutouts in it, and it fades from bigger cutouts to smaller ones. Really cool, and it's contrasting the rest of the car, which give it like that aggressive look. On the Flugplatz one, you could see it is not contrasting. It's not a different color. It's the same color as the car. It doesn't have holes in it, and it just has this crease, this line that follows all the way through. Beautiful, beautifully done. For the first time, Aston Martin is offering replacement parts on vehicles, all straight from Aston Martin. They can replace this with the type that's on the Lime Essence. They could replace it with ones that have vertical slants in them. They're creating a tuner market for their own vehicles, which I think is brilliant, and I love to see where this goes.
As far as turbo engines, I don't think anybody makes a better sounding turbo engine than Mercedes.
No. You kind of get like the best of both worlds in that sense. You get like that AMG sound,
right?
But it has like its own tone to it, like it's a unique tone to it.
For sure.
I'm a huge turbo fan, so I do really appreciate what they've done here. You feel it when you get on there. It's not a lot of turbo lag. You know, it has maybe a hair depending on where you are in the RPM range.
Right.
You know, but if you're in the power band, that thing just knocks out as soon as you get onto it.
It's crazy. And the fact that it's a hot V too.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't really feel the heat soak or anything in there.
No.
Like the turbos are sitting right between that V8 engine. They're like right there. You pop the hood and you could see the turbos. You know, it's nuts. So they manage the heat very well.
We put it through the paces today too.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
again, it was really hot. The brakes, you know, the tires might have been pushing to the limit.
For sure.
But yeah, I mean, the motors held up fine. There was never a point where I felt like it was going to get too hot.
Did you have the AC on the whole time?
I had the AC on blasting.
Yeah, dude. Like we had the windows closed most of the time, AC blasting, and pushing the cars.
So the next piece we're gonna cover are the side skirts on this vehicle, and they have some really big side skirts. Now the Lime Essence, along with the rest of the trim on the car, has a gloss black side skirt. How narrow the body goes and how deep it goes here and how far out this comes. It's about 3 inches out from the body of the car. And then as you go towards the back, you see the side skirt getting smaller and smaller because the back end is so wide. This matches the front grille and it looks really good with the blue. And I don't think the heavy gloss black would look as good on this car as this finish does. And it does bring the character out. So every trim should work along with everything else to bring all the characteristics out of the car.
It's really easy to root for a Ferrari or for a Lamborghini or for, you know, a dominant company. We're kind of rooting for Aston as an underdog here.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
For sure, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like whether it's in Formula or it's in the success of Aston Martin as a brand.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, so really rooting for them.
As you can see, the Flugplatz Blue Vantage has a body-colored roof with a crease in the middle. Looks really cool, and that crease kind of shows a little bit more because it is a body-colored car, whereas the Lime Essence has a gloss black finished roof on it. Whenever you have that black roof, it blends the roof all the way to the back here. I personally love this look more than this look, but again, it's all about preference and what you're going for. If you want that more aggressive look, I believe the black roof achieves that. If you want the more subtle look, more traditional, this is the way to go.
When you're following each other with two identical cars in different colors, the looks are just incredible, and I don't think I've gotten that in an AMG GT at any point. You know, like people, it's a Mercedes.
Yeah,
you
for
know,
sure,
like,
for
so,
sure. This is James Bond's car. You know,
it's a James Bond.
You've got,
you know
you've got
what
the
I mean?
James Bond.
James Bond.
This back end is one of the most amazing designs, in my opinion, of any modern car. It's so different. It's such a huge departure from anything we've seen on the road. Even for Aston Martin, it looks unlike any Aston Martin's back end, but somehow, when you look at it, you know it's an Aston Martin, and that's what makes really good design. This one's finished in that high gloss black, 2 pipes coming out each side. This one is finished in that metallic matte gray finish with a single exhaust. Now the single exhaust does not sound as loud or as aggressive and raw as the double exhaust does. It's still very aggressive. It's a hardcore sports car, don't get me wrong, but it is definitely more tame and more of a classy approach than this thing is.
I mean, you definitely feel the weight a little bit, especially when you're pushing it through the turns.
But that track mode setting hides the weight really well.
It hides it really well, but you have to really plan for your line. Like, I felt, and it might be the tires as well, like what we're talking about, but I definitely felt a little bit of understeer coming into like some of the more downhill angle turns.
Right.
As long as you're on top of it, you know, you can play with it right.
For sure. As good as the suspension is in track mode when you're and hiding that weight, when you actually start moving that weight, there's only so much a suspension's gonna hide.
Yeah.
You know, like there's only so much.
It's actually surprising how much it pushes because it feels super nimble up until that moment. And then you're like, whoa, okay, there's the weight.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
All Aston Martin doors open at a 33-degree angle. Everything in their design language, 33 degrees, 1/3, carries over, and that's what gives it that timeless look. I believe the grab handles are so cool on this thing. Very vintage sports car looking. Majority of everything inside is Alcantara, including the top of the dashboard, which is crazy. One of the things I really love about the paddles on this car is they are very easy to reach. You put your hands on the wheel and the paddle shifters are naturally right behind your fingertips. Perfect curves on the steering wheel, great grip, no complaints in this department whatsoever. As always, seat controls on Aston Martins are on the side panels here. This is a more subtle interior. The Alcantara seats do a fantastic job in this car, gripping you and holding you in place. So we got black leather, black Alcantara, gloss black trim, and black stitching. So same exact car, but look how drastically different this door panel is. All that's changed is the materials and the colors. How we have some of the character of such a gorgeous color of the outside of the car, and they bring that to the interior with the trim pieces. No Alcantara on this interior. Dashboard is just black leather, and we do have a lot of contrast stitching on this one. This center console is not gloss black, it's not a wood trim, it is lime essence, and it looks exactly like the exterior color of the car. It's like looking at a piece of the outside of the car inside. I feel like Aston Martin made a conscious decision to stuff as many buttons in this thing as possible. And this is a very vintage way of doing things because everything's touch and everything is screens now. And I believe this interior comes together in a completely different way. Paddle shifters are exactly the same size as the Flugplatz car, just a different color so they don't pop as much. There's so much more character in these seats than in the one in the Flugplatz Blue. And that's because this is all black leather, but it has layers of leather. The Aston Martin wings on these seats are not stitched onto the headrest. They're stitched right under the headrest right here, again in lime essence, because there's so much happening here. It looks like really high-end Dolce & Gabbana sneaker or something like that. So many leathers, so much character, so much stitching, and thick yarn used in the stitching. Absolutely gorgeous, to die for looking interiors on these things. So that wraps it up for our Aston Martin Vantage video. I'd like to thank Thomas for joining us today. I'm hoping we could do more and more videos together, brother. Yeah, it's gonna be dope. We got some fire stuff coming your way, guys. So like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Thank you for watching. StudioMotors, we're out.